Hey, Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor and best-selling author, and we are here to talk about the stock market. There are count them, two major concerns within the next few weeks that could really shake up the stock market. Now, I don't want to ring the alarm bells and stuff like that. However, it is time to discuss these because one, they're going to be in the news. All investors are going to have their eyes on this, and there are some pretty big implications that, again, you do want to be aware of. I believe that when you are more empowered and more informed, you can make better decisions, and usually those decisions involve not panicking. So I'll give you my tips at the end around what I'm doing and what I'm looking for, but we need to talk about these two issues. So we didn't talk too much about the China thing because I think these two issues are a lot more pressing. So number one, U.S. government is going to shut down if it does not pass a temporary spending bill by Thursday, this coming Thursday. We don't do it by midnight, then come Friday morning, government shut down, and we've been through this type of thing before. The good news here is, because we've been through it before, you sit tight, you don't worry. If you are a government employee, obviously you want to save as much as you can, but this is not a good thing, even if we were to wait this out for a number of days. The shorter, the better. But the reason why this makes it a little more, I would say, urgent is because we're still in a pandemic, and we just had hurricanes in several parts of the country. Those people need money. Those funds need to be dispersed, but if the government shut down, you can't really do that. This includes air traffic control. Those are government employees. I think it's for the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration. I think that's right. But remember the last time that this happened, there were tons and tons of delays because people weren't going to go to work for free, right? You go to work, you're not getting paid, it's already a labor shortage, not something you really want to do. So keep that in mind. If this hopefully doesn't stretch out into the holidays, but think about these things, right? And how this could affect if you're owning an airline company and a shutdown happens, this might affect you. Longer delays, less people flying, maybe people are going to travel via car or not travel at all during a pandemic. So if you have all these crazy layers of things happening all at the same time. So that's the first thing. We've got to get that spending bill passed by Thursday. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think I just got an alert from the Washington Post a little earlier today that the original temporary spending measure to avoid the shutdown was already blocked. So there's that. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to get into political stuff of it, but that's story number one, that this got to happen by Thursday, and we don't want to see that happen. Number two, and I would say this is a more pressing issue, is the debt ceiling. So I want to explain what it is, why it occurs, and what we need to expect from that. All right. So let's think of America like a regular person. You got your income, you got the money that you're spending, and then you've got the debt, the money that you owe, and the reason why you're borrowing, right? So America, for the most part, makes its money through taxes. So income taxes, taxes on dividends, sales tax. Now, we don't have federal sales tax, but you get the point. That's where we get the money from. What are we spending our money on? So security, defense, stuff like that. And right now, we're spending more money than we are bringing in. Now, like you and me, that is a very, very big problem if you're doing that for long enough. However, we don't have unlimited funds. And in economics, we say that the United States has unlimited funds because they're going to tax us either way, right? I work as many hours as I can work, and that's going to be it, right? The paycheck is a paycheck. But for the United States, they gonna get our paycheck. They gonna get their taxes, right? So it is a concern, but it's not the biggest thing in the world. It's not as pressing for a country to have reoccurring debt than it is for us. But when we talk about this debt, what is it? Where does it come from? And what does it mean? That when we say debt for a nation, that comes from bonds and treasuries. These are the promissory notes that they say, look, you as an investor, I owe money to you. You give me $1,000 every year. I'll give you, I'm making up a number, $10 a year, so 1%. I'm giving you $10 a year every single year, and then at the end of the 10 years, you get $1,000 back. That's basically a U.S. bond. So who does the United States owe? Us as bondholders, institutions, and other countries that also hold bonds. Now, most people think that we owe all this money to China, and China's the one buying up all these U.S. bonds. They do have a lot, but they are not the number one person that we owe, or people that we owe, however you want to say that. It's really U.S. bondholders hold the most. So your 401k, your bank account, your actual bank. They hold a lot of this stuff too. A lot of times when you think about a money market account or even a savings account, the rate that you are getting is the difference between what the bank is getting from a US bond or something and then what you're getting. Didn't think about that. So that is the issue. If we don't raise the debt ceiling, which is the limit that America can borrow, then every people say this, but it's actually a big thing. Everything collapses because then banks won't be able to make those payments. Bonds won't be able to make those payments. You've got other countries that depend on those payments to do other things. It would be absolutely wild and catastrophic if that were to occur. We have until I think it's mid to late October for the debt ceiling to be raised. Now this debt ceiling thing is basically we have to, I think it's the U.S. Treasury if I'm not mistaken. The U.S. Treasury has to ask permission of how much can we borrow, what is the credit limit this year, and it is raised in a bipartisan fashion, and it's been in place since 1917. So it's not something that is new, and it's not something that had previously been controversial up until, well, now. Now the interesting thing too, when we talk about the nation's debt, remember that all debt is for something in the past. So anything that you did in the past is essentially what you are paying for now. So keep that in mind when you're like reading up about it and when you're in your little Facebook debates about whatever, because y'all know it's where it's gonna go. I ain't gonna be in it, but that's what people talk about, right? So it's always for something past. For example, I'm paying student loans. That's for a decision that I made to go to a fancy college on the other side of town or the other side of the country in 2008. Okay, right? So if you're paying credit card debt from Christmas last year, that's from a decision in the past. So to raise that credit limit or to raise the amount that you can borrow, that's always for something in the past. So it's already occurred and you have to pay for that. Now, right now, again, they've tied these two things together. The House and Senate have tried to tie these things together and get some other things passed, but all this still relates to the infrastructure bill that we've been talking about as well. So it's a little convoluted. The infrastructure bill, shutdown, debt ceiling, all pressed in together as one. Hopefully they can split these things apart and really avoid the debt ceiling thing and the shutdown. I'm most concerned about that because I need people to get their hurricane funds and COVID relief and all that stuff, and I prefer the country not to crumble financially. All right, so that is what is going on. What should you do as an investor? For the shutdown, I'm not really changing anything. First off, it is my hope that we don't have to go through nobody's shutdown. I'm not in the mood for it. I saw it before. I'm good. I don't need it. Okay? I don't think anybody needs it. But it's not going to change my investment strategy. The only reason it's not changing my strategy is because, again, we've seen it before. We've been fine. That doesn't mean it's a good thing. Doesn't mean I'm rooting for it at all. But come Friday, which it just so happens to be that would be the shutdown day, I'm investing anyway. I think the market is already kind of compensated and priced that in should that be the case. So I'm not saying the market is going to crash on Friday. I'm not saying it's going to be normal. I'm just saying whatever it is, I'm investing on Friday in either case. Now, it's the debt ceiling issue that I think is a much, much, much bigger problem. That's too far away to really figure out where people are going. Again, today, the measure to raise the debt ceiling was already blocked outright. Others say it's going to be a game of chicken up until the last minute. I pray that it's not the case, but you do need to be aware as an investor. If that were to occur, I think you have much bigger issues than what you are and what you're not investing in. That would be like a DEFCON 5. I would be doing 4 or 5 videos a day if that were the case. But that one I would hold your horses on. What I'm really looking towards is Friday. At least you know now what the debt ceiling is, why people are talking about it. Also, I think since 1968, we've raised the debt ceiling in a bipartisan way 78 times. 78, it has almost never been an issue up until now. And again, think of it like raising your credit limit so you can spend what you need to spend for bills that you already incurred in the past. So those are the things. Again, I wouldn't really concern myself about like the debt number itself. We are going to have the money as long as we charge in taxes. We're going to have the money to make these payments. But the debt ceiling is that cap. And it's almost always been raised. We've never had an issue where it not be raised and America is not able to pay its bills. That is the biggest issue. So that is it for me today. I think right now I urge calm, just relax for now. Even if we hit a shutdown, which I don't want to say that I think that's going to happen because that makes me very cynical. I don't want to go there. So it's not going to impact me as an investor. It's not going to impact me as an investor. I think we can wait that out. It's the debt ceiling thing. So keep your eye on it. Keep your eye on the news. We'll continue to cover this story as things progress. If you do have any other questions about this topic or any other stocks or questions that you may have just in general, feel free to let me know. I love answering you guys' questions. Y'all know how it goes. And that's it for me. Talk to you guys later.